Stereo. Amphora. 40.
Okay. So now I'm back ready to do another recording. I'm going to be preparing eggs for making egg and mayo sandwiches, I believe. So I've got to get out my egg slicer, if I can find it in here. Oh no, where is it? There it is, my egg slicer, a fork for mashing eggs, for mashing eggs, a spoon, mixing it all together, the mayonnaise for doing mayonnaise with eggs, mayonnaise, and my curry powder because I want to do curried egg, so that's curry powder. Oh, it's got a powdery feel to it. It has. So the eggs have to cool off a bit more. And my phone has to go over here so that I don't wreck it. Okay. So, gonna peel the eggs. How I do it is tap the flat end against the sink, then tap it all the way down the side of the egg to the other end, then tap it around until that all of the sides of the egg are all cracked open. So that way it is easier to peel the egg. Then you roll it in your hands and then you just peel all the shell off. Turn this water down a bit. You peel all the shell off. So then I put it into the bowl, and my next egg there's a pointy end and a flat end. I put the flat end against the side of the sink because I wiped it over and cleaned it all off and everything. So give it a good clean before you use your sink, because it is food preparation, you don't want to dirty the sink. Bang the flat end then onto the side until you get to the other end, then bang it around slowly. Like you're kind of banging it, then roll it in your hand a bit, then bang, roll it, bang, and then roll it in your hand. Roll it not really firmly like horrible, just enough. Then all the eggshell is crushed in your hands around the boiled egg. Then all you're doing is peeling off the crushed eggshell. You don't crack the flat end open and then peel a piece off, then crack a bit more, then peel a piece off. That takes too long. You don't do that. You just grabbing the egg, bang bang, and then moving the egg around as you bang it until it is all crushed in your hand. Not to the point where you're breaking the actual egg, you're just breaking the eggshell around the egg. Starting from the flat end, you gently peel around the crushed eggshell that is all crushed under your fingers. You peel it all around until it all just sloughs off like a glove. It'll just slough off, it'll just come off in your hand. None of this crack a little, peel a little, crack a little, peel a little, crack a little. No, don't do that. Just grab the egg. This is how quick I can do it. I'm doing it now. You're not doing it really hard and wrecking your egg. All you're doing is crushing the eggshell from around the egg, just crushing the shell. You're not wrecking your egg. Don't bang it so hard that you squash the egg and tear the egg apart. Just bang it hard enough to crush off the eggshell. Then when the egg is crushed, the shell is crushed around the eggshell is crushed around it, then you gently peel off the crushed shell. And then it all comes off in a few pieces instead of a massive little tiny smithereens. You know, you've got to peel a bit here and you've got to peel a bit there. No, you don't. All you're doing is crushing up the eggshell so that it is crushed around the egg. And then you peel off all of the crushed eggshell. It is so quick and so easy to do that. You don't need to do all these other things to peel an egg. You don't need to. You don't have to do anything. In fact, you just peel the egg and it's done. And it's done. Then you pick up your crushed eggshells out of the sink and throw the crushed eggshells into the rubbish bin. There's nothing to it, to be honest. Nothing. It used to take me 20 minutes to peel eggs. Now it only takes me 5 minutes to do it. And it used to take me 15 minutes to mash eggs. Now it only takes me 10 minutes or even 5 minutes. So what used to take me half an hour to do when peeling and mashing eggs now only takes me 15 minutes at most. At most 20, but usually 15 minutes. Now I take each egg, I run it through the cook and dine egg slicer, and I do it for 4 eggs. That's done already. It's only taken me a little less than 30 seconds to slice up 4 eggs. Now I'm going to pull it all apart with my finger. One hand is going to pull it apart because it's sliced now. It's cut into slices. It's not joined together anymore. So it's cut into slices, and now I'm going to smash it up with my fork, just like so. You don't do it bang, bang, bang and break your bowl and get eggs everywhere. You just do it. You could even use a potato masher, but I choose to use a fork. It's just easier for me to use a fork. It may take a couple of minutes to do it, but you know, a 20-minute job is now like 5, or if you're slow and don't do anything quickly, it's going to take you 10 minutes, but it's not going to take all day to do it if you do it the way I've discovered and shown you how to do it. So I'm mashing the eggs now. I'm just going to scoop it up into the middle with my fork and do a bit more smashery. Just smash the eggs. That's all you're doing. Just smashing them. It's not hard to do it. There'll be a couple of little pieces of eggs. You just go over them another time and go over them twice. It's not hard. You might get sore wrists, but you're exercising your wrists, so it doesn't matter. I'm nearly done with smashing my eggs. Almost done. Nearly done. Almost done. I'm nearly done. I have to buy another packet of eggs on Monday because I'm eating them too much because I make them so lovely. They're just wonderful. You just make them and then they're beautiful. Takes you 5 minutes. If you want really good smashed eggs, you're going to have to take 5 minutes to do it, because if you want it to be smashed finely, or if you don't mind chunky pieces of egg, then just do it for a couple of minutes quickly. But I like my eggs to be smashed, so I like to mash them up into big chunks, then smash those chunks into smaller chunks, because I like it fairly fine, see? It's just me. It's just me, how I do it. Okay, right, they're done. Okay, so now I'm going to mix. I don't do exact measures, I just mix a little bit of curry powder and put it back in the fridge. So, wash and dry my hands, then use a little bit of curry powder. So you just tip some in. I don't use a specific amount, I just tip a bit in there. That's plenty of curry powder. Yep. Fair bit is okay, because then I'm going to mix mayonnaise into it. So I'm just going to mix it around a bit. Yuck. Getting the eggs everywhere. Yuck. Mix it around a bit. A little bit of curry, that's good. And you just mash the eggs a bit more into the curry. That's all you're doing. That's all you're doing. And you give it a bit of a mix with the fork and you whisk it in a bit. I mean, it's not the same as whisking, you know, like raw eggs or anything, but it's similar. There we go. Now that's done with the eggs. So then you put that. Yum, beautiful. Yum. And then you mix it with mayonnaise. So probably a little bit of mayo to start with. Mix that in. And if you need a bit more mayo, you put a bit more mayonnaise in. Because you can add some in later, but it's hard to take out if there's too much. So you just do it slowly. Because it's hard to take out later. So you want to do just enough mayonnaise to make it coat the egg. Otherwise it'll be too much and you can't get it out. So you just add a little bit in to it. And you add a bit more in if you have to, but not too much. Obviously you just add a bit, then you mix it, then you add a bit more in. You're adding the mayonnaise gradually as you mix it in. Then you scrape off the sides of the bowl any remaining egg, and then you finish mixing it in. That's all you're doing. Because you can add in little bits at a time, you can't take it out once you've added too much in. So I think that's plenty of mayonnaise. Plenty, I believe. Okay, now I'm just going to put that mayonnaise back in the fridge. Then I'm going to put all that into a little bowl and glad wrap it. I'm going to take all this stuff from the bigger bowl and put it in the smaller bowl and then glad wrap it. Is what I'm going to do, and that way it'll be nice and cold later to put on bread. That's what I'm going to do. Curried egg with mayonnaise. I've probably put a bit too much curry powder in it, but you can get away with adding, I reckon I'll put a bit too much in, but oh well, it comes out pretty fast. But anyway, that's what I did. It's still going to be quite nice, the sandwiches, because you can get away with putting a bit of curry, as long as it's not excessive. If there's a little bit more than you've expected to put in, then hey, that's just how life goes. It's just how it is. So yeah, that is how I do my egg and curried egg with mayo. You can just do egg and mayonnaise without curry, like some people don't like curry powder. So you don't want to do something that people don't like. But because it's myself and I like curried egg and I like mayonnaise, rather than do the curried egg and then put the mayo in it, I prefer to mix the curry and the egg together with the mayonnaise and the curry together with the egg. So that way I've got everything that I want. Whereas if it's for anyone else, I'm likely to just do mashed eggs with mayonnaise and then add maybe a dash of curry to the sandwich, you know, to that egg sandwich, if that's what people want. Because otherwise you can cause a disagreement, which we don't want is a disagreement. So you don't want that. So you've got to try to not cause a disagreement if you can help it. Wrap that up and have it ready for tonight when I do sandwiches. Put the glad wrap away. For later. There you go. that's my sandwiches done and dusted for you. Now I can clean up my bench. And that's me done for sandwiches. Meaning that I'll be able to make sandwiches today later with my curried egg and mayo mixture. And that's using 4 eggs. That's using 4 eggs and a bit of curry powder, not a huge amount if you can try and help not using too much. And mayonnaise. You know, you mix a bit of mayonnaise in and then you mix a bit more in until you've got just the right amount, which adds about 2 tablespoons of mayo. But you wouldn't know that until you've trialed and error, you know, did a trial and error thing where you gradually mix the amount of mayo in that you want, otherwise you'll have too much. So if you say 2 tablespoons of mayo, that could be too much mayonnaise, but if you mix a teaspoon and then another teaspoon and then another teaspoon, you'll find that that won't be too much if you mix it in gradually. So yeah, that's how I do my curried egg and mayonnaise. You know, like I said, if it's anyone else, you do the egg and mayo and then add a little bit of curry to each person's serving. Or you do curried egg for people who like curried egg, and then you do a separate batch of egg and mayonnaise for people who like egg and mayonnaise. Or you make your egg, plain smashed egg, in a container, and then later on when it's, you know, you put it in the fridge. Later on when you're ready to make sandwiches, you then mix each portion differently. So if you wanted curried egg, you'd get your smashed egg onto the bread and you'd put a bit of curry on the bread, and if you wanted mayonnaise, you put mayonnaise on, otherwise you don't put it on. And if you just wanted mayonnaise, you wouldn't put any curry powder on, you would just put the mayonnaise on your egg sandwich. I find that a bit hard, so I would rather make an egg mixture of either curried egg or egg and mayonnaise. If I really didn't want the mayonnaise and I wanted tomato sauce, I would just make smashed egg and put that in the fridge and have smashed egg with whatever amount of sauce on my bread. But since I really love egg and mayonnaise, yeah, that's what I've decided to do, is egg and mayonnaise.
Speech on. -0. Pause. Button. 234. Or 100% battery.
I
Stop. Pause. Button.
have decided to do egg and mayo for putting on sandwiches later on tonight. So I'll have to get the bread out of the freezer at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon and make sandwiches by like 6:30 tonight or 6:15 when the news is on. So yeah, that's my egg and mayo recording done
Stop.
and
Button.
dusted.